All right, joining us on the debate now, we have with us, Tuhin Sinha continues with us. We also have with us Hitesh Jain, senior advocate, and Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. Hitesh Jain, Aam Aadmi Party is saying, you always say, the BJP always says, the court has ruled. We must believe in the wisdom of the court. Now you have such a senior minister raising questions on the wisdom of the court, of the Supreme Court itself.
Well, frankly speaking, the order is unprecedented. An exception has been made which has got no place in the eyes of the law. What Honorable Amit Shah was pointing out was the unprecedented order and exceptional since independence or even before that. There has been no precedent where a person who's been accused of a heinous offense and a serious crime has been granted bail only for the purposes of campaigning. Now, Mr. Kejriwal is not the only person. There is Hemant Soren, there are others. So what is their crime and what is the yardstick you are going to apply? It is now going to be very easy for a criminal that even if he is inside, if he wants to come inside, what he has to do is file the nomination form. And how is his right going to be anything different than that of Mr. Kejriwal? You are giving a leeway to others, and it is all easy to say that this is one-off case. But how it is one-off case? Mr. Kejriwal is a chief minister. Mr. Hemant Soren is a chief minister. How are you going to basically what you are trying to do is prepare a special exception only for Mr. Kejriwal, and that is something legally, I mean, there are a lot of questions, and therefore we say when you create an exception only for one individual, then this becomes an unprecedented ruling. It's nothing wrong in criticizing it or making a comment that this is unprecedented. An exceptional order has been passed only for one individual.
So, Hitesh Jain, is the insinuation then that this order is politically motivated?
Well, I don't think we are saying it. Exception has been carved out for someone to go and campaign, which has not been given. You have not extended the similar benefit to other respondents. So definitely people will say that exception has been carved out only for Mr. Kejriwal for the purposes of campaigning in the election, which was like tomorrow, like suppose a farmer will come, a small shopkeeper will come. How is in the eyes of law, every person is the same. You cannot apply a different yardstick and basically try and distinguish or try and discriminate. Basically, what has happened is today you have allowed one person to do just come out and basically try and campaign, and look at the audacity of that person. I mean, he has been granted relief only for the purposes of campaigning, but claim kind of statements that are being made, they are shameless. He's brazening out something what has happened, something which serious offense. And people are observing. People are also observing as to what is happening when he has been let out, and the kind of audacious statement that you vote for me and the Supreme Court will change the verdict is in fact Mr. Kejriwal who is putting the judiciary in an awkward situation, and therefore obviously the common man is going to ask a question that when there is no condition in the Supreme Court order, Mr. Kejriwal trying to make a broad statement that you vote for me and I will not go to the jail for. Kejriwal dictating the orders to the Supreme Court.
Okay, hold on a second. I will play out in a minute exactly this statement that Arvind Kejriwal made in the course of campaigning just a few days ago. Sanjay Hegde, is this special treatment? That's what everyone is talking about on the street, and now the Home Minister is saying it. I quote again, I feel that this is not a routine and judicial judgment. A lot of people in the country believe special treatment has been given. Sanjay Hegde.
Well, special treatment did not start from the Supreme Court. You rarely have an event earlier where you put a chief minister in jail just at the time of elections. You cannot have free and fair elections. We are not Pakistan where you can lock away Imran Khan and then say, okay, elections are free and fair. So listen, there are circumstances out here where the court says, this is your case, I've heard most of it, the hearing is not over. In the meanwhile, elections are due. You have kept the man in. Today, I am going to give him bail so that at least his campaign is not stopped. In the meanwhile, the court is also looking at the main petition. The hearing went on all of today and will go on for a certain portion of time tomorrow as well. It is quite, I will not hazard a guess as to what will happen as far as the main petition is concerned, but the questioning has been intense. If anybody has followed the proceedings before the same bench today, they will realize that the government is not on a very easy wicket. There has been another judgment of the Supreme Court today in a totally unconnected matter, which also has put in fetters on the ED's powers to arrest people in a routine fashion. The ED has been used as a weapon of, political destruction as well. It's not as if the courts can keep on, sitting on their hands and doing nothing. So the Supreme Court, in this case, has said, here's a sitting chief minister.
Praveer Purkayast's case, the NewsClick case.
No, I'm not talking of Purkayast. Purkayast also applies, but there is yet another judgment today of Justice Oka. I don't have the name of the case. So there are several cases now. As a pattern, the ED's cases are falling apart in the Supreme Court. So if the Supreme Court says that it thinks that it is going, that this case will take time, in the meanwhile, there is the proximity of the election, and it decides that you can't have a free and fair election, or you don't want a Pakistan-like election where somebody is locked away and the rest are allowed to play. So the Supreme Court says, okay, in this case, we'll grant.
But then why wasn't the same done for Hemant Soren?
Okay,
he literally made the same argument. I am a chief minister. I have been in jail for longer than Arvind Kejriwal. I need to campaign. His wife is fighting an election.
Yes. As far as Hemant Soren is concerned, why Hemant Soren? I would say why didn't the Supreme Court give bail to Umar Khalid? Why hasn't the Supreme Court given bail to a lot of people in the Bhima Koregaon case? Yes. As far as Hemant Soren is concerned, I would think maybe the Supreme Court will grant bail sooner or later. The difference in the two cases is that Arvind Kejriwal did not seek bail. He challenged his very arrest. Hemant Soren's bail petition was sent by the Supreme Court first to the High Court, and the High Court thereafter did not deliver a judgment for quite some time. The appeal against that was pending before the Supreme Court. The ED did not come on the first occasion. Therefore, the Supreme Court has now kept it, if memory serves me right, Hemant Soren's petition is also coming up tomorrow. So it is quite likely. Just one last sentence.
So the Supreme Court cannot keep sitting on its hands? Okay, one last sentence, yes.
Yeah, and today the Punjab and Haryana High Court has now adopted the Kejriwal order and given bail to another Congress minister who was also taken in by the PMLA. This overbroad abuse of the ED and the PMLA jurisdiction is what has led to this whole series of bail.